Hey guys, Outdoor Prepper, welcome back to the channel. We've got something interesting today. I picked up this Dyness 12-volt lithium iron phosphate battery because what I want to do is I've been trying to figure out how to extend the runtime of my power stations as well as build my own power station at a fraction of the cost using this Dyness battery. So through the magic of editing, let's get this out of the box and set up. That was pretty fast. All right. Let's bring the camera in close and take a real close look at this battery, and I'm going to explain what this is and go into more detail as to why I bought it and why this is an absolute killer deal compared to buying expansion batteries from proprietary companies, that make power stations or any of the like. Okay, let's just go over a couple of the specs of this battery, but first I just want to show you the other item that I picked up from Dyness, and this is the charger. Now this charger is actually pretty rock solid, and we'll just take a quick look at it. So as you can see, the charger is made by Dyness. It's a 14.6 volt, 20 amp LiFePO4 battery charger, and it's going to output 14.6 volts at 20 amps. I like that it has a great quick disconnect here. Comes with this as well. We can hook this up to the ring terminals of the battery. I'm going to test the voltage on this battery shortly, but we're probably going to plug it into the charger and just top it off, make sure it is fully charged. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put a graphic up on the screen just so we can go over basically the specs together. Now, the reason I picked this up is because it is a lithium iron phosphate battery, so it has a safer, more stable battery chemistry, and these are not subject to thermal runaway that you would see in, say, a lithium ion battery, for example. The voltage on this battery is 12.8. It has a capacity of 100 amp hours, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And it has an energy density of 1,280 watt hours, which is equivalent or actually surpasses a lot of the small power stations that I own, and hence the reason why I wanted this battery. It has a charge voltage of 14.6, which is basically what that charger has that I picked up. And the charge current that's recommended for this battery is 20 amps. I'm going to post a link to the battery. Now, coming back to the battery here, one of the things that I really like about this is that this has a Bluetooth app, so I don't need to hook up a shunt. I can literally monitor the battery, monitor all the voltages in, out, the state of charge, everything I need to do straight from the app. Okay, so what I've done right now is I just pulled the little safety caps off the terminals on the battery, and I'm going to take the screws that come with it, and I'm just going to slowly thread them in, because we are going to be hooking cables up to this shortly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up, and let's just see what kind of voltage we have in its current state. We are getting 12.95 volts. And apologies if you can't see that super clear on the camera, but it's 12.95. Okay guys, so what I've done now is I've downloaded the app. I very easily paired it to the battery, and what I'm going to do now is I just want to bring this up on the screen here. All right, so as you can see on the screen, it's going to show me a layout of the battery. I'm just going to click on the battery, and it's connecting it via Bluetooth. So as we can see in the upper left-hand corner, we're at 13.15 volts. That is a slight difference from my meter, but the meter I have is about $10. State of charge, as expected, is about 50%, and that's usually how these types of batteries ship. So I'm glad I picked up the charger, and I am going to charge that all the way back up. Our capacity right now is 51.12 amp hours. We're not drawing any current, and we're at a very stable 68.7 degrees Fahrenheit for the temperature. If we go into battery, this is going to give us a good overview. So we've got the state of charge, which we saw on the main screen, the voltage. We're not pulling any current. Our capacity right now is 51.12 amp hours. We're not being charged. We're not being discharged. And what I like to see all the way at the bottom here is the cell voltage. So we can see all the cells are perfectly balanced at 3.29 volts per cell. Okay guys, so you might be able to hear on the screen, it's a little bit louder now. I've got the battery hooked up and charging. Let me just disconnect the camera from the tripod. And what I did here was I connected the cables to the ring terminals. They're nice and torqued down, nice and tight. You don't want to have anything loose here, especially when there's current flowing through. It's connected to the quick disconnect, which is then connected up here to the charger, which is part of my short cables. We can see the charger's on. We've got the red light on. We can hear the fan going. So I'm going to go ahead and basically just leave that there now until we are no longer at 50% state of charge. but I want to be at 100% state of charge. Guys, we're back. Pardon the table, it's a little cluttered. We've got a lot going on here. Battery is fully charged. It took a couple of hours, right? Because you're getting, 20 amps going through it. This is a 100 amp battery. We were at 50% state of charge. So it took a little bit of time. Battery maintained its temperature. At no point did it get hot. At no point did the cables get hot, the connectors or the charger. I checked all of that. So what I want to do here is show you now. I have a generic power station right here, and it's powering a lamp with a relatively small bulb, but it's incandescent nonetheless. This is taking roughly 37 watts of power to power this lamp. So right now we're using 37 watts of power, and it says we can run for 15 hours. Now, obviously in a blackout situation, I'm not going to be running this stupid little lamp. I'm going to be charging my phone, powering my refrigerator, powering a much larger lamp. And this battery in this generic power station is about 1,038 watt hours. And that's fine for what it is. But if I wanted to buy a expansion battery, this unit itself was roughly $400. An expansion battery is almost the cost of the entire unit. So I'm looking at almost another $400 for an expansion battery, whereas this Dyness battery, which is $149, that is literally almost a quarter of the price of an expansion battery from any of the major power station brands. So I figured this battery has a, 1,000, let's just spin it around, just so we can be exact, 1,280 watt hour capacity. That is higher than the power station. So why can't we just leverage that? And the answer is we can leverage that. And for this demonstration, and I'm going to hardwire this obviously when the time comes, but I picked up these cables here. So these are basically alligator clamps with a connector. And that connector, as we come around the back, we can see right here on the back of this power station that that's the connector for solar. So we're going to just plug this in and simulate as if we were coming from solar. All right, so now that we're connected, let us see. Let's let the power station detect it and figure out that we have solar connected, even though we've basically connected another battery. All right, look at this. My point exactly. Now keep in mind, we are using power right now. So we have 66 watts coming in, 37 watts going out, and we're charging the battery. And in 3 hours, we're going to be fully charged back up to 100% from 85%. In fact, let me just kill the light for a second. So look at that. So now that we have no load coming out, we're pulling in 102 watts on this battery from the Dyness battery, which basically is telling me I can charge this to 100% in 2 hours, 1 hour now, and it's basically has doubled the runtime of my power station at a fraction of the cost. So instead of paying $400 something for an expansion battery, I could pay $149 for an awesome battery that I can connect to any power station. I don't need any proprietary cables from power station companies. I can buy the Dyness battery, and with my alligator clips, or I can hardwire it, put a little heavier gauge cable there, I can connect it to any power station, and I can significantly increase, if not double, actually I am doubling the runtime. Now if I wanted to pull in more than 102 watts, I can get a 24 volt Dyness battery, I can get a 48 volt battery. Basically it depends on what your power station allows coming in, but this allows up to 60 volts. This is a 12.8, so obviously the larger the battery, the higher the wattage coming in is going to be. And just as another example here, my refrigerator, and I've tested running my fridge on this power station here, my fridge pulls about 60 watts while it's running. It's actually a highly efficient refrigerator. But with this battery, I'm pulling in more than my fridge even uses. So whereas I previously got about 14 hours of runtime on this power station, when I connect the Dyness to it, I'm estimating I can get well over 24 hours of runtime, which is incredible, considering this battery is actually a higher capacity than the power station, and it is a quarter of the cost of the expansion battery. Okay, I cleaned up the table and got rid of that power station. So now let's just say you don't own a power station, but you still want to leverage this battery because it's a very powerful battery, and you want to have some backup power during an emergency, or maybe you want to just take this and throw it in your camper, you want to throw it in your RV, your trailer, your toy hauler, whatever it is, and this might be powering your onboard systems, but you still want to have some AC that's readily accessible, or maybe even just to charge your phone. So what I have here is just a very generic off of Amazon power inverter. We can hook this up very, very easily to this Dyness battery, and instead of having an expensive power station, we can literally make our own for the cost of the battery, which $149, and any generic inverter, $20, $30, and you're set. You've got a battery, and you've got AC outlets, you've got USB-A right here. You can get these with USB-C if you choose to. That's up to you. Okay, so I just connected the alligator clips to the terminals, and again, you can hardwire this. From my testing here, these alligator clips are going to be just fine. And basically, I'm going to take the lamp, I'm going to plug it in to my power inverter. I'm going to come around the back here. I just don't want to flip it around because the cables are connected. I'm going to turn it on. The red light, hopefully you can see that on the camera, has come on the power inverter. So I know we're getting power. Now it's green. I can hear it very softly that the cooling fan has turned on. Let's go ahead and see if this lamp turns on. And to no surprise at all, the lamp turns on literally just fine. And with this capacity, we're basically almost, well, we're 100% efficiency on the battery because there's nothing in here that needs power. This power inverter itself is going to have some little draw to power the circuitry, to power the cooling fan. A power station is roughly 85% efficient. I would say this is going to be even higher. So if we had a 100-watt light bulb being powered by this 1,280 amp-hour battery, or watt-hour battery, I am estimating a 100-watt light bulb, we would probably get at least 11 hours of runtime. That's factoring in some loss of efficiency in the inverter and the circuitry, but quite frankly, it may be even higher. Yeah, light is working just fine. Inverter is working just fine. The Dyness is powering everything as expected. There's another couple of things that I really want to mention in terms of the use case of the battery. Now, obviously, we showed how this can extend the portable power station and can power an inverter, but there's a lot of things that you really kind of don't think about and overlook. With this battery, you're going to get 3,000 to 6,000 charge cycles, use cycles and/or charge cycles, and that's a lot. That is over 10 years worth of using this battery every single day, and even at that point, you're only going to be at maybe 80% capacity, and it still has useful life left in it. I want to also mention that a battery like this is great for running an off-grid cabin, a shed, a garage that is kind of remote. Think about a hunting cabin. You can charge tools with this. You can power a Wi-Fi hotspot for quite a long time. You can power security cameras or motion lights. If you're into ham radio, this is very clean, very stable electrical power. It's silent, it's vibration free, and it's instant clean power. So this is what you would want for your radios, ham radios, emergency service. You can pair this with portable solar panels and a charge controller, and you can literally just use this to power your off-grid setup. Obviously, you can build your own power station, as I showed you earlier. And another use case, maybe you want to just run your home off of solar. So you can have a bank of these batteries, your charge controller, your solar panels, and the good thing is you can add on to it later. So let's say you buy 5 of these batteries to power your home, and then later on you realize that your power needs have changed. You can just buy another couple of batteries and expand the system. That's the benefit of getting something like this Dyness battery as opposed to, a straight out of the box unit that limits you and that's it. With this, you can just continue to expand it. And obviously, these batteries, they hold the voltage under load. They have a long shelf life. You saw me pick it up earlier. They're very lightweight. And again, I've said this before, but I want to keep coming back to it. This is a safe battery chemistry. There is no thermal runaway. These are lithium iron phosphate batteries. There's no risk that this is going to explode, catch on fire. It has a built-in BMS system. It obviously has thermal protections. It has short circuit protection. It has overcharge protection, overcurrent protection. That is all built into the internal BMS. And that is exactly what you want to see in a unit like this. Just one other thing I want to throw in there. Maybe you have a commercial landscaping business and, a lot of folks now, especially here in the Northeast, a lot of towns and villages are banning gas-powered leaf blowers. So maybe you have a landscaping company and you've converted to electric leaf blowers that run on batteries and have to be recharged. You get a couple of these Dyness batteries, you throw them in your work vehicle, and you can hook all the chargers up to it. This is the type of battery you want. There's a lot of batteries on the market, and when I selected this, again, I'm a generator and power station type guy, so I did reach out to a friend, and the friend recommended Dyness very, very highly. He's been using it for quite a long time. He's an RV, had no issues, so that was the #1 reason why I picked this up. And then when I started doing my research, it got excellent, excellent reviews. And as you can see from the testing, this is a great battery. And let me just stand up because I just want to show you, this is not a heavy battery. Like, car batteries are super heavy. I'm just taking one hand, I'm easily able to pick this up and put it back down with no struggle. If this were a car battery, like a lead acid battery, it would be incredibly heavy and very hard to pick up. These are lithium iron phosphate batteries, battery cells. They're efficient, they're safe, they don't have the thermal runaway. Listen, I would not have this in my house if this was a giant lithium ion battery because I would be afraid of it, quite frankly. I don't think you're going to go wrong if you pick this up. And my personal recommendation is to get the charger as well, because again, I really prefer to use the same charger from the same company, and I like that it came with this quick disconnect here. I'm actually going to just leave this on the battery because anytime this battery gets low, I can just pull the charger over, connect it right up, and charge it right up to full. I'm going to go ahead and post a link to this battery because there are a lot of different models out there from Dyness, so if this is one that you're interested in based on my testing, I'll post the link so you can get the correct one that we've tested here today. I'm also going to go ahead and post the charger because, like I said, I think you should get the correct charger for the correct battery. And this is just an awesome, awesome way to double the capacity of your portable power station or make your own with a cheap, generic $20, $30 power inverter. There's just no excuse. This battery could be a lifesaver in a blackout. It can keep your fridge going, keep medical equipment going, keep a CPAP going. If you have insulin and it needs to be refrigerated, this is how you can do it very inexpensive. So there's no reason to have to go out and buy a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 power station when you can get a $150 battery and a $30 power inverter and you're good to go. Guys, if you have questions, do me a favor, leave them in the comments. I will answer all questions. If you want to know anything specific about the battery that maybe I haven't gone over, happy to do that. Like and subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next one.